it truly takes to get those first wins. To lead this conversation, we have with us someone who works closely with businesses entering and scaling in the US market. May we please have a round of applause for Mr. Naveen Pathak, CEO, Entry USA LLC, to moderate this session. And joining him on the panel, we have Ms. Jayanti Chandrasekhar. She is the Chief Growth Officer, Idea Factory LLC USA. And we also have with us Mr. Dinesh Gurupur. He is the Chief Growth Officer, bringing a unique perspective on building and scaling customer relationships. Over to you, Naveen. The conversation is all for you to explore.
Thank you very much, ma'am. All right. So I have some satisfaction. There is, I can see some faces here. If it was up to me, I would bring all of you on the dais. Right? Okay. So my name is Naveen Pathak. I've been in business for over 20 years now, helping companies do cross-border business and trade between US and India. What does everyone want? If I was to ask every one of you, technically in business, not only you, I, and Jayanti and Dinesh, is we want clients. You want clients, right? Clients is an asset. We all want to win clients. Now, it boils down to what strategy we deploy to win those clients. Now, what it means is the core of this discussion, that what strategy we adopt, we deploy, we implement to win those clients in the US. US, of course, the largest market, a country that is legally allowed to print money. That's why they have the money. Now, how to get into US for those who are in business is one part, and those who are not in business but want to become or start a company. In this world right now, let me qualify that statement, want to start a company. In the world of AI, you can start your own company, business, if not the company but business. In what, couple of days, you can start to learn how to create a website. Go on Fiverr.com. If you don't know, then it is Fiverr.com, and start to create a website for $5. That's it. In 2 days, 3 days, by the end of the week, you are full-fledged in the company. Now for America, for a buyer in America, he has options. The idea is how to break into those options. There are people who don't have companies. It can become very important for you. I'm going to make it so simple and easy. I know we have at least 2 companies here, and they will understand it very easily, but I want to make sure that everyone here understands if tomorrow you look into opening a company and US is your market, which it should be. If it is not today, not tomorrow, but one day it will be. Because that's where the money lies. A lot of money lies, right? So I want to start with a very simple thing, that what makes America a great market. So what is the current scenario, is my question to my panelists, is that how to win part is one part, but what is the current scenario in US, what is accessible to the buyers in US, what is the current environment in US for the buyers. So Dinesh, we can start with that.
Thanks, Naveen. I think one of the key things for US customers, right? Today, as Naveen said, it's easy to build software, right? We use a white coding, using Claude, you can build an entire SaaS product in like a week's time. So which means that the number of sellers have grown significantly. There are thousands of companies every day are coming up as like AI startups, right? But if you look at on the buyer side, the buyer is not growing. It's the same set of buyers. So today you have more sellers than buyers, and all of them reaching out to the same buyers to sell their products. The buyers are completely confused. Like, I have 10 choices or 1,000 choices. I need to pick one, and that's the biggest challenge. Is like, how do you differentiate yourself? How do I say that my product is better than 10 other companies? How do I build that trust? So today it's not about just the product, it's about the trust. Why should a buyer trust you and your product and so sign a check to buy that? Right? That's the biggest challenge today every company is facing. And I think today's topic is that. So that's the current market condition. Is there are more sellers than buyers, and it's very hard to do business.
Yeah, good evening everybody. Taking on from where Dinesh just left, I think the buyers look for certain key characteristics. There are certain key requirements which will help you to make an entry, and if you're already present, it will help you to expand. The first prime thing I think is clarity. There's got to be focus. If you get into the market and say, I offer software services, it's a clear no-no. You have to be able to define exactly what you're offering. For example, if you say, I have a product which helps you to manage your costing in your manufacturing, it's a clear go-ahead. If you define it further and say it's meant for the automotive industry, you get another tick. So clarity is number one. Second is proof. You have to have proof of concept. You have to have proof to say that you have delivered the product and how you've delivered it. So there's that, and these proofs have to be clearly defined. The third most critical thing I think is low risk. And when I say low risk, it's nice if you're a startup to start up with a pilot project. Don't delve deep into large projects. Don't even aim to get into large projects. I think these are main key three requirements. I would add what you as buyers would look for, and that would be the return on investment. If they're investing, they want to see a good return. So when you're talking about your case study, please do stress on what the returns to the buyer is going to be. I think these are some of the key points.
Yes, these are very good points. Now, let me introduce my panelists to you. Remember, at times there were movies in which after 30 minutes of the movie, they show who the actor and actress are. So with that answer is coming from experience with Dinesh, 30 years in the technology sales helping startups expand business, and Jayanti with over 40 years in the sales side. By the way, Jayanti helped ESC with 5 of their members selected in generating sales in the US. So these answers are critical because they are coming from the experience. Experience is very important. One thing I would want to add, what I have seen, and it's all of course for people in business, but of course for people not in business too. If I give you watermelon and I ask you that you want to have a piece of it, right? How will you cut it? Either you hammer it or you use a knife to cut it. Which mechanism would you use? Hammer or knife? If I ask hammer, can someone raise hands? If I say knife, can someone raise hands? Why? Because hammer will not split it open, it will splash it open. You will have small piece with all the mess around it. But if you use knife, it is clean cut. You will enjoy relish, meaning you don't say, I do everything to a US customer. You say, I do one and only one thing, and that's my expertise. And you will win your client. And patience is the key, right? So I'm giving you some insight into what becomes very critical when a company tries to do that. Now let me come back to this question where Jayanti ended her comment. Why Indian companies fail getting a US client? Dinesh?
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest challenge, why everybody's struggling to get to the US clients. The number one is they don't know who they're trying to sell to. Because if I have a product, I have a service, I need to sell it to somebody. Most of the time, they don't know who they're trying to sell to, which I call as ideal customer profile, which means that if I don't know who I'm selling to, how can I even sell my product? So that's when it becomes a spray and pray approach. So let's say if I'm selling to manufacturer, then I say, okay, I want to sell to all the manufacturing companies in the US, but guess how many manufacturing companies in the US? There are 100,000. Who's going to actually sign a check and buy your product? And that's where, they just try and send emails or reach out to every possible manufacturing companies. Sale is not happening, and then they just get disappointed. So that's one of the biggest challenge that Indian companies feel, that they don't know who's their ideal customer profile that they're trying to sell to. And even if they figure out, okay, this is my ideal client, they don't know how to position the product. They don't know how to message the product. Like if the buyer asks, like, now what's your product? The answer is not just one crisp line. So they have to explain in a paragraph saying that this is what I try to do. By the time the buyer is like, you don't know what you're trying to sell. So that's the two problem. One is you don't know who you're selling to. Even if you figure out, then you don't know how to sell that product to. So that's the two things.
Yes, and what I'd like to add is, again, going back to specificity, you can choose a particular area and you have to dig vertically into it. You have to focus and dig vertically into it. If you do one pilot for a company, try what you can do next for the company when your pilot is approved. Don't spread yourself too thin. Because when you start spreading horizontally, then that gets difficult because you're overcommitting. Time of delivery again is very important. If you commit on a particular time, I think you should stick to the time. Time of delivery is very, very key. I also think culture plays a little bit of an importance. And when I say culture, you need to understand the US mindset. Which is why, channel partners or partners become very important. Because if you're beating around the bush and you're telling them stories, it doesn't interest them. They're interested in speedy delivery, they're interested in quick responses, they're interested in understanding your offer very crisp, and very, very important, please stick to the commitment that you make. Don't overcommit and undersell. It's a statement that's often made, but it's a statement that holds a lot of gravity.
So all this was theory. Let's get into the practical part of the world, right? I'm a company and I want to sell my services or product in the US. What do I do? Now run me through this whole exercise in practical, in different ways. What should I, what can I, what may I, what must I, what will I? And then help, before we get to Q&As, is to understand through that process. But not the process, but for lack of a better word, let me use the word strategy here.
I think the way I'll answer this is, I'll give you two examples of the conversation I had at the booth. There's one company, it's a small company, so they have 3 clients in the US. They've got like 10-member team in India, and they're trying to sell mobile app development and some testing kind of presentation, right? So his question to me was like, now how do I grow my business like beyond 3 clients? So my answer to that is like, very first thing is, how did you even get the first 3 clients? So that's, you start thinking of that, right? The first 3 clients, I said, like, until you grow to within the first year, the key thing is it's called the founder-led sales. I mean, you are too early to hire a salesperson. Never do that. Don't hire a lead gen company to do just simply cold call and reach out to market and try to sell. Founder-led sell is the starting approach, which means that the founder, even though it's technical, dedicate 50% of his time in actually selling his solution. Now, how do you sell when you don't even know context? The 3 clients that you have, if you're doing a really good work, use the 3 clients to get your next 6 clients. They will refer. Like, there's no shame in asking them, saying, hey, like, okay, you are happy with my work, just can you introduce me to another one? That one client introducing another one, so that becomes 2, then so you get 6 clients. That 6 will become, then you actually travel to US, sit with them, understand, participate. Networking is another big thing, because you cannot sell. If you're new to the market, the only way you can grow and get clients is through warm introductions. Find as many people as possible to introduce you to your ideal customer profile, and that's the biggest thing. So the founder-led sale is number 1. Use your first client. If you don't even have a client, that's a different story. How to get your first client is absolutely through your friends. Like, just like when you're starting a company, you do bootstrapping, right? But then you go for friends, family round, where you ask your friends and family for money. Same thing applies for getting clients. Ask your friends and family, saying, okay, can you recommend me to your neighbor or somebody, right? That's how you start slow. So this, I'm talking about companies who are on the very, very early stage who wants to get to the first 10 clients. The strategy is different when you are like already slightly established and you want to really scale and grow. Then you get to a real process, sales process, marketing, and the whole 9 yards. But I'll just stop with that thing, saying the founder-led sales is the most critical part, and using your existing customer as a leverage to expand one layer beyond that.
I think you also have to get your relevance and in terms of presence in the US, which is very important. It's not about just incorporating a company. It's also about being present there physically in events that are happening, networking with the chambers of commerces, participating in exhibitions, seminars. People need to see you. So this is, an extension of what Dinesh just said, founder-led. So you have to be visible in whatever form. If you are not personally present there, at least you have to have a representative institution, your channel partner, somebody talking about you, being there, representing you, letting the people know that you're there and you know what you're all about. Because without this, if you think you're going to sit in India, you just appoint a salesperson, you're going to get business, that is not something that's going to happen. I would go a step further and say, even if you have a partner, like Dinesh said, you have to be physically present there. Show yourself, be present, be relevant, update yourself with what's happening in the industry there. You may have done great things in India, but yes, you have to be able to understand what the US is all about, what's happening there. And this is not something that we can teach you sitting there.
That's very nice. Okay, let me we have 12 minutes left. I'm going to spend 2 minutes, just still 2 minutes. And then if anybody has any questions, we can address those. So what it takes. Now, if I'm a company and I have 0 business, but both of them sing together, I'm going to just put it in one line and just, narrate it to you. I have no business. What do I do? Some assumptions. One assumption is, let's say I get a visa to travel to US, or I don't get a visa to travel to US. Very simple. If I don't get a visa to travel to US, then let's say find your own family, friends to begin. Help me out. You might have anybody from your kindergarten classes grew up with you, and you find that person there in the US. Connect with someone. That's one way of doing it, right? Now let's leave it to the part where you have a visa. Travel to US. Spend some time there. Meet, network, very critical. How do that? Join a delegation. Maybe NASCA, maybe ESC, maybe any other PhD, any Chamber of Commerce, going from here to India, IACC, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce does a good job, but become a part of the delegation. Go there, meet, and find someone like Jayanti and Dinesh for sure, if not me. right? But fine, because these are your extended business development arms. Time to introduce myself. So I run something called US-India Collaborative Corridor, a physical hub where we connect companies, do business, help them expand in multiple ways. I invite delegations, we do venture series events, we do buyer-seller meets, and we have a showroom also. So let me run you through an example of a company called Food Yoga. Nothing to do with IT, but you can figure it out what I mean. So Food Yoga met me, the CEO of the company, Dhaval Phadke, met me in 2021 at the Ambience Mall in Vasant Kunj. I was here. And he says, Naveen sir, I want to sell my product in US. What do I do? I say, you can start a company and start to do whatever you want to do, use Insta, use whatever. But Naveen sir, I don't have money. I said, yeah, nobody has. It's okay. So you're not ready. When you have it, then you tell me. So he kept on following up. He took my picture, then he posted it on LinkedIn. I met Naveen Pathak. Well, up 2022, he opens up a company. Sir, I've opened up a company. What do I do? Okay, you have to visit US. The US will cost me money. Of course, it will cost you money. At least some money. Right? गाय दूध देना चाहती है, पर जो चारा आप खिलाओगे नहीं गाय तो आप चाहते हो गाय दूध दे, चारा खिलाओगे नहीं तो गाय दूध देगी नहीं, राइट? अच्छा, तो अब गाय को चारा खिलाना है, तो अगर खिलाना है तो जाना है ना. Then he came to US in 2023. Naveen sir, I'm coming. Oh, very good. It took him 2 years. Okay, come. So he comes to me and then he meets me and I say, you know what, go around, meet as many people as you can. So I gave him some names. He traveled across US, 4 months. कभी किसी friend के घर रुक रहा है, कभी किसी family relative के घर रुक रहा है. But he made his way through. After 4 months, he come back and he says, you know what, some introductions were made and he found ShopRite. Just like you have this GeoMart, right? He found one, he says, they are ready to put my stuff on one of the shelves. What a breakthrough, and not asking single penny. You cannot beat it. And one night he calls me after a couple of days. Then he said, they are asking me to sample it. You might have seen some stores give you some samples. I had to try the food out. Just they are asking me, where do I go at 11:30 in the night? But I know he was working hard. So my point was, अगर वो एक step चलेगा, मैं 10 चलूँगा, but वो effort दिखा रहा है. So in the morning, I got him someone. I asked him to go to high school, find students. High school students who are 16 plus. Or find senior citizens roaming around. Request someone, because they are idle, not doing anything, give them $15 an hour, give them 3 hours a day, and help them. He got one. The product started to pick up, not so much of sales, but visibility. Now, Naveen sir, what do? I said, you should have some samples here in the warehouse. Naveen said, that would be expensive, but that is important. Now the movements, you start to get some sales. I need warehouse. With warehouse coming customs, transportation, everything coming along, but the morale is high. And now today he is in 78 stores. Same thing with tech, no difference. If you want to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, then whatever they are saying is absolutely right, on the dot, cannot make a mistake. Is that come there, participate in events, meet with people, network as much as you can, don't try to sell. It's not a transactional meeting, it is a strategic meeting. Do not try to say, remember, dating is all expenses, right? अब dating जाते हैं, dating करते हो, कोई तो करता ही होगा. सब expensive होता है. किसी की जेब से देते हो या किसी की जेब से, अपनी जेब से देते हो. कुछ तो ऐसे ही होता है. लेकिन शादी में एक्सपेंस कम हो जाता है थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि शादी होगी ना, अब कहते एक प्लेट से खा सकते हैं, शायद पहले एक प्लेट से ज़्यादा खा रहे थे. Anyways, what I mean is, अगर आपका लॉन्ग टर्म गोल नहीं है, यू विल वेस्ट टाइम, है ना? अगर आपका टाइम वेस्ट होगा, मनी वेस्ट होगा, आप कहीं नहीं जाने वाले, रोने वाले हो, कहने वाले हो, you know what, America doesn't work, it is not good for me. America is a very, very rewarding company if done it the right way. Remember, everything I say, I do not exclude luck. मैं luck को बाहर नहीं रखता. Luck is a part. I'm here by my luck. थोड़ा effort है. Luck का surface area बढ़ा देते हैं. जितने लोगों से मिलोगे उतना लक बढ़ने लग जाता है. फिर भी लकी होता है. मैं एक दिन घर बैठा था, आपके घर में अगर खिड़की नहीं है, दरवाजे बंद है, कोई नहीं आ रहा, कोई नहीं जा रहा, तो लकी नहीं होने वाले. कोई लॉटरी घर पे नहीं आने वाली. खिड़की खोल दी ना, एक दिन लॉटरी उड़ती उड़ती आ जाएगी. दैट इज लकी. पॉइंट मेरा यह है कि अपना नेटवर्क बढ़ाओगे, जितना नेटवर्क बढ़ेगा उतने चांसेस ऑफ सक्सेस हैं. बट दैट टेक्स यू ओनली टू 1 2 3 4 क्लाइंट्स. लेकिन उन्हें सस्टेन करना. To have the relevance, you have to put in your hard work, smart work, and then grow that network, use your clients, and that is the way. But give yourself some time. Now I'll end it here. 5 minutes left. I steal more than time.
I just want to add one
Yeah, please,
thing. Yeah, sorry. But I just want to add, and this is something I should have said right at the beginning. I think you should have a plan for yourself. Look at America when you have a plan. Look at America when you have a strategy. We can help you build on that strategy. Be prepared to be there long term. If you think you're going to get quick returns, then America is not for you. We work with ESC companies, software companies. There's some companies we took to market immediately. Within the first month, they got business. There are other companies who have got a response now, and we've been able to get them business after our contractual period with ESC has even ended in the marketing side. So have a long-term vision, be patient, and I'm sure you'll make it in America.
Okay guys, questions? अगर क्वेश्चन नहीं है ना, कुछ नहीं सुना. फेल करूंगा. क्वेश्चंस? सर आप तीनों में से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्वेश्चंस? यू आर ऑल फेलिंग. ओह,
my simple question is that because I was from 90, I was in Mighty, and we know how the industries are growing. And now the thing is that the lot of startups are coming small.
thousand miles away. Maybe you're not ready yet.
No, that is true. मैं जो बोल रहा हूँ आजकल there are many because of internet, social media. पहले जैसे नहीं है मार्केटिंग. पहले तो आपको पता होगा कि जाके बैठना पड़ता था फिजिकली टू ऑफशोर के लिए. अब तो इतना नहीं है. बट देन ऑल्सो देयर इज ए स्टार्टअप के लिए अभी भी मार्केट चैलेंज है यूएस से लाने के लिए.
यही दिनेश सर ने बोला कि यूज योर नेटवर्क.
I think I'll give a different perspective. One is that the statistics shows that 90% of startups fail. And that number is increasing with more AI startups coming up. Which means that 90%, 95% of the companies will not succeed. And there are top two reasons why startups shut down, right? The number one reason is what they call a product market fit. That means that whatever product they have or solution they have, it's not fit for the market. Either that it's nobody wants the solution, or the solution is only required by very few people. So that's the ground reality, right? And the second reason why they fail is they're not able to preserve cash. And they're not able to preserve cash because they're not able to drive sales. There's no revenue, which means they're burning cash soon reaches a point that stop taking salary, the CEO decides, okay, I have to go back to job, then the company shuts down. So I think the one which becomes successful, the 10%, the 5%, is they have a very strong product market fit. So which means that they have to look themselves in the mirror. Just because it's easy to build an AI product or a software doesn't mean that no, I'll be successful, and because everybody wants to come to US, but you need to look in the mirror and then see, is my product, what I'm building, am I solving the right problem? And is the problem real? Is there a need? So I think that's where, when we advise some of the companies, in one conversation we can figure out that the problem they're trying to solve is not sellable. I mean, people are not willing to pay money to buy a solution because it's a nice to have. It's not something people are really dying to buy because it's if I don't buy this product, I'm going to die next day, right? So that's where the whole challenge and the problem is there. So I would say that people have to reflect, the founders, before even they create a product, they need to first do a market analysis to figure out, can I even build a product in the first place? I can't blindly build a product and expect to magic that. So that's my...
Yeah, and I'd also like to say, as a company in Entry USA, we do a lot of webinars. You should follow up. These webinars would reflect in our web pages. We tell companies, we bring different, from different verticals, different spheres, we bring speakers on these webinars. They advise you, you can ask questions. So there's a lot of understanding that we give to the target audience or anybody who wants to understand how to get to the market in the US. So as a company, we do a lot of work. We're also there in the booth in G408. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to come and ask. We can address specific questions. Our business cards are all there. We'll give you answers to any specific questions you have. But yeah, we have these webinars which are very helpful. It's proven helpful. People have moved. We've known of examples of people having incorporated companies in the US after participating in the webinars.
All right, so we are here and at the show. Yes, please.
Hey, thank you, Naveen, Jayanti, and Dinesh. Very realistic words. So I have one. I would like to take your opinion on one of my. So we have formed a consortium of about 300 plus software companies together, providing about 230 plus technological services. Maybe what you said, a niche skill, is exactly correct, but what we wanted to go it is a single point of contact for multiple solutions, but not by one company. It's a put together a consortium companies. We are seeing a good response in India. We are already able to get the traction because one shot they can talk to multiple companies at a time. Same thing we have applied in Saudi Arabia and UAE. We are seeing little traction and we are doing some prototypes and not yet got the customers, but traction is going on. Would like to know this kind of a concept will work in US. What's your opinion?
So the companies like ESC and NASCOM, that's what they do, right? So they have these delegations, they bring it to US and they help introduce. I think this is one of the many ways of for the first year to get clients, right? You have to use founder-led, you have to use consortium like yours, is to get in front of as many buyers as possible to increase the odds of. Just because you're in front of a buyer doesn't mean that they'll sign the check and give you the business, right? So it's like it increases the odds of you getting a business. So these consortiums definitely works in the US. We have Thai is one of the biggest, largest entrepreneurial network.
Just a small clarification, Dinesh. This is not a association where provide delegations and all. We are a business entity. I mean, kind of a business consortium. We provide the services. We go as a group and sell it to the single customer. So Thai or NASCOM are kind of organization. They support the individual companies. But we are companies as a group and go and sell it to the customer as a single consortium, so that customer will get all the services either through one company or through the another company. So this model is working.
How do you find your clients for the consortium?
Okay, so what we are doing is we are having a joint marketing and sales activities. Okay, put together some of the companies. We are, say last year we have exhibited in some of the areas in UAE and in Middle East, I mean in Saudi Arabia and all. As a group we will go, we will share the we will share the cost and we will go maybe share the stall costs and all. Likewise we will do like some kind of a joint sales and marketing activities you think of.
So you're like a channel partner for them, for the companies that work under your umbrella, is that correct? I mean, you have the umbrella, you're the umbrella, you have a
Correct.
number of companies under you. You are showcasing their products in the to the end users here, right? To the buyers here.
Almost similar to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So likewise, yes, it's possible to do the same in the US as well, because you would be coming there representing a number of companies. What we would suggest to you maybe is, yes, the companies are there, but when you project it as individual products for each company. So you bring a company that is in the automotive space, you bring a company in the pharmaceutical space, somebody who has a product for each of these industries, or in the fintech industry, and you become the umbrella for them. You project the products that you have to offer. That's absolutely possible.
Okay. We are doing almost in the similar way,
Yeah.
not exactly the same, but in the similar way.
Marketing or selling is the same in any part of the world. I mean, if you're marketing and selling it here that way, yes. It's understanding of the market that is different in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
But the process can be the same.
Yeah, I think this is a much more deeper discussion. I want to understand, like you have, let's say, 100 companies as part of your member, right? Now, what kind of companies are these? They are product companies, services companies, are they industry agnostic, industry specific? Because when you have these many companies, right?
I think Naveen is looking at the time.
We can take this after that.
All right,
right?
so we can definitely have a discussion at the board.
Right, thank you everyone.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much to our moderator and all our esteemed panelists for a highly practical and insightful discussion. What made this conversation particularly valuable was its clarity, breaking down what often feels complex into actionable steps. From identifying ideal customer profile to building credibility through clarity, proof of delivery and showcasing ROI, to focus on expertise and digging deeper vertically, from a mindset of commitment to a mindset of proactiveness and no shame founder-led sale. This discussion offered a realistic playbook for entering and succeeding in the US market. Let's have a huge round of applause for them, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, I'd like to invite Mr. V. Sagar to please join us on stage to present a token of appreciation to all the speakers. So sorry, sir. No problem. I will not get going down. Thank you so much, Arun. इसमें बात होना वो तो नहीं करना सुन के जब लिखना है बातें तो आपसे लिखा जाता है Yes, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Naveen, Ms. Shayanti, and Mr. Dinesh. Thank you so very much. Thank you, V. Sagar sir. We've been troubling him since morning. Thank you so much for your time and patience. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we move into the next session, the conversation turns on how India is strengthening its role in the global mobile ecosystem. From product design to manufacturing,
वेलकम
and
टू
eventually
क्रिकनेट,
reaching
जहां आप देख
international
सकते हैं अपनी लोकल मैचेस की लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग। ग्राउंड बुकिंग हो या प्रोफेशनल कोचिंग, सब कुछ अब एक ही जगह। और हाँ, अपने फेवरेट शॉट्स के हाइलाइट्स डाउनलोड करना भी बिल्कुल इजी। अब क्रिकेट सिर्फ खेलो मत, इसे लाइव भी करो। डाउनलोड क्रिकोनेट ऐप और बन जाओ अपने गेम के स्टार। गली क्रिकेट हो या लोकल टूर्नामेंट, अब हर मैच बनेगा लाइव। वेलकम टू क्रिकोनेट ऐप, जहां आप देख सकते हैं अपनी लोकल मैचेस की